You've spoken about witnessing more than one instance in which David Miscavige jumped across the conference table at people. Can you tell us where that occurred, describe the room, and then describe the incident for us?
Okay. The Watchdog Committee has an office, a really kind of like a big office, where there's like a 12-foot conference room table or something like that, kind of in the center, and then all around are little cubicles where people, like the Celebrity Center sector is here, the Sea Organization sector is here, the Scientology Mission sector is here, and it's just all around. We have our own little spaces. And where David would sit is on one side of the conference room table, and then there's a big long table, and everybody else would sit on the other side. Well, my little cubby or cubicle was directly across from where David was sitting and where the crowd was, but I wasn't always involved in every meeting because he would have meetings with marketing people, or he'd have meetings with the compilations personnel or finance people or whatever. Just he used that conference room a lot. So it didn't always have to do with me, and I wasn't sitting at the table all the time, but I would be there in the cubby, so I was always witnessing these things. And on one occasion, it was a marketing meeting, and I'm sitting in my cubby, and all of a sudden, David jumps up onto the table and across the table and at Jeff Hawkins, who was a marketing manager at the time, and knocked him over, grabbed him around the neck, and was strangling him and pulling at his clothes. He had buttons popping off his shirt and change rolling. It was into my cubby, because it was right directly across from him, so it was just all happening right at my feet. And, I gathered up the change and gathered up the buttons and stuff like that and returned them to Jeff. But it was all of a sudden, and it was just a surprise. And Jeff was completely shocked. It was mortifying to see that. Because it wasn't like, okay, now I'm going to come over and kick your ass. It was just all of a sudden up on the table, across, knocking his chair over and, and struggling with him.
Like a tackle across the table?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know why. I have no idea. I don't know if Jeff does either, because it was just a surprise out of the blue. I'm sure he said something that he didn't appreciate or something. I don't know why, but there's no justification for it anyway. That was one instance, and then yes.
And did the meeting continue right then?
Yeah.
As if nothing had happened.
As if nothing had happened. He got back up, and I don't know if he was taken out of the room. I don't remember exactly, but the meeting continued.
And there was another instance that you recalled for us before.
Wendell Reynolds. It was there was about 4 people sitting on the other side of the room. It was Wendell Reynolds in the center, and then Mark Yeager, Mark Ingber, Guillaume Lesève, and those are the ones I recall. And it was about finance and some other matters. But what happened was Wendell was sitting there, and it was again where David just jumped up onto the table and then lunged at him and knocked his chair over backwards, and and then he's standing over him while Wendell is just laying on the ground with his chair laying down, and he said, "Get up and stop acting like you're hurt," and which then he sat back up and the meeting continued. But it's just another instance of that occurring.
Okay. Same room, there was another physical attack on Mr. Mark Yeager.
Mark Yeager. I was sitting in my cubby, and I could hear just coming up there's a ramp, and then you end up into the WC conference room, and up the ramp comes David Miscavige, full steam, bang, 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 sounded like an elephant coming in. You could tell he was pissed. So I got up from my cubby and came to the center to find out, something's going to go down, so I wanted to know what it was. So, and be kind of like at attention, because he's obviously going to take something up with us or something. He was just really pissed. So, he came in and then went around the WC table till he found, like he was looking for Jaeger, until he found Jaeger. He found him and he went straight after him, and he grabbed the front of his shirt and stuff like that, and he threw him, pushed him back against, at that time we had set up this whole speaker system and stuff on the side of the WDC conference room. So he pushed him into that, and he fell over and stuff was falling over, and he's like laying on the ground, and Shelley, his wife, was saying, Dave, Dave, like to try to calm him down a little bit. Meek didn't do anything, didn't stop him, but she did do that. And so he kind of like rattled him. And then, there are several different instances with Mark, but that was the one that you're referring to right now, where he came in and he got shoved against those bookcases, the speaker system and that are up on these bookcases, and toppled over.
What was the project that they were working on at the time that required the audio equipment and everything?
If I have the year correct, I'm not sure, but the reason why we had the speakers set up was because we were listening to the Joy of Creating album being made, which was being made around that time. I think it was, early 2000s. And so that's the reason why we had it set up, and we had a video camera there, a video player there also, because it was event stuff that was all getting prepared, and so we were seeing the rushes of that, and we were listening to the songs as they were being completed for the Joy of Creating.